conversations about police brutality and police misconduct seem to have died down almost completely. But these conversations were very near and dear to my heart because I survived police brutality, in fact police torture, by this infamous Chicago police officer, Joseph Frugoli. Story time. Now if you live in Chicago, you may have heard about Joseph Frugoli because while he was driving drunk, Frugoli killed two Mexican-American young men, hitting their car in his Escalade, or as I call it, the chariot of douchebags, on the Dan Ryan Expressway. And if you don't know Chicago, the Dan Ryan Expressway is the expressway that goes south out of Chicago into Indiana. Now what did get a lot of publicity is Frugoli had been arrested 4 other times for driving drunk, but was never convicted. And this was a regular occurrence for Chicago police officers. Chicago police officers would be caught driving drunk and get off completely. And this was part of the so-called code of silence around the Chicago Police Department. And other police departments as well, but we're talking about the city of Chicago. Now when this first happened, and Frugoli got arrested because of public pressure, it made the news because Frugoli had killed a DePaul University student. In fact, a first-generation Mexican-American student. His mother was an immigrant. There's his mother. Now I was called as a witness in the civil case against the city. The family of one of the men who was killed by Frugoli was suing the city of Chicago. But this case was also supposed to be a civil case meant to expose the code of silence. Why was I called as a witness? Because when I was in college doing an internship at Chicago Magazine, and I was doing a story on Chicago's underground party scene, this is a scene where house music really germinated, and I was leaving a party to go into the Rock and Roll McDonald's. This is a party where Mark Farina and Derek Carter had both spun. I was walking into the Rock and Roll McDonald's with the promoter of the party, and Joseph Frugoli, who was working as a security guard at the McDonald's, stopped myself and the promoter at the door. He asked for our identification. I showed Frugoli my University of Wisconsin ID. And Frugoli says, "Oh, college boy, you think you're better than us? Well, you're just another N-word." And then Frugoli wanted me to tell him that I was just another N-word. And because I didn't, he beat my head on the concrete outside of the McDonald's until I went unconscious. 2 other cops did the same to the party promoter who was black. And later that night I came to in the basement of the McDonald's, where I was handcuffed to a chair, and Frugoli and the other police officers kicked me in the ribs and the head and told me they would stop if I told them that I was just another N-word. And that's a picture of me from the internal investigation propped up against the wall in the hospital. And when I was called as a witness, I found out the police union had been trying to get rid of Frugoli for a long time. And also when I was called as a witness, I was dating a Chicago police officer. So I got the inside scoop on why police brutality is actually tolerated.